Hi, everyone. Thanks for coming back to the Confident Chemistry Teacher podcast. Today, I'm going to be talking about what my summer goals are, how I was able to come up with them, and some strategies that you might be able to use to make your summer awesome. So, if you guys have been listening for a while, you're going to know that I switched schools this year. And besides switching schools, I'm teaching biology, which is something that I haven't taught in 15 years. And then to top it off, I was only able to move into my classroom 2 days before the school started because our school was getting remodeled. So the result was that I felt really behind and unorganized all year. So the main goal is that I don't want to feel like that for the next school year. So this summer, I am going to get organized. Now, I realize that it is not going to be perfect. A podcaster that I listen to says progress over perfection or excellence over perfection. So I like both of those. But I want to be less rushed, less behind, and more in control. And then that'll help me feel less scattered. So, the big idea here is that I had a lot of changes and not enough time to prep for the year. And then I listed out some other pain points that I had to help me come up with some goals that I want to accomplish this summer. Besides new school, new classes, is I've also been the senior class advisor. And let me tell you, it is April and I am in the thick of my senior class advisor duties. So there's actually a lot of things to do through the year, but they come in spurts. So I made sure to add those to my monthly to-dos so I know what's coming up and that I can plan for them and make sure that I'm putting enough time in my schedule to accomplish all those. Another thing that's a little bit different is the time of the year when we order supplies at my new school is different. I'm making sure to put those so I can get whatever I need. And then the big one for me is I want to go through my curriculum. I've started doing it a little bit, and I want to make sure that I have a good idea of the topic, the main activities, the labs, and then the assessments that I'm going to give for each chapter. So the idea, again, is not to be perfect, it is to be proactive and not be reactive like I was during this school year. So, besides planning for just school, I'm also making sure that I'm planning for my home, my business. I need to get to the gym more. And then I'm also doing some traveling and visiting some family this summer. So, what I've done in the past that hasn't worked for me is a couple of summers ago, I was like, I'm just going to go with the flow. And I did get some stuff done, but it was definitely not what I needed to get done. And then last year, I spent the summer really working on this business. I had a couple of classes. I learned how to put a website together and podcast. It was amazing to make progress in my business. The other areas definitely got neglected. So I made a weekly plan. So the weekly plan for me, and you might want to think about how you can make your weekly plan this summer if you're lucky enough to have a lot more time off this summer. I know a lot of teachers have to get second jobs or work summer school, but hopefully this will give you some ideas about how you could structure your summer to get some more stuff that you wanted done accomplished. So for me, I am a morning person. So on Monday, Wednesday, Friday mornings, I am going to do deep business work. So I'm going to make sure I close my office door and I'm just going to get that stuff done. In the afternoon, I still have some energy, but my brain is done by then. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to try to get some lighter tasks done and hit the gym. Then on Tuesdays and Thursdays, I'm going to work on house projects. I have been procrastinating doing some stuff around my house. I recently went through my pantry and I do not want to tell you how old some of those things were that I threw out. And then on Tuesdays and Thursday afternoons, I'm going to work on my school stuff because I love planning, I love creating, and so for me, that's more of like a fun and creative outlet. On the weekends, I am going to take Saturday and try to do some more fun. Right now, during the school year, I feel like Saturdays are kind of like a catch up on work, catch up on business, catch up on laundry day for me. And so I definitely want to hit the lake,
do some paddle boarding. I want to get up early in the morning. I live in Vegas, so you have to get up early in the morning to beat the heat. So ride my bike, maybe take my dogs for some more walks. So I'm going to try to get some more fun things in on Saturday. And then Sunday, we usually have a family dinner, and then I'm just going to use this day to get reset. Normally I would do my grocery shopping on Saturdays during the school year, but I'll probably just do it on Sundays. That way it gives me a more free Saturday. So the idea here is for you to figure out a system that works for you. Maybe you are a night owl and do your creative work at a time that fits you. So the idea is you don't have to follow my plan. I just wanted to share with you so you can give you like a springboard or some ideas for your own summer goals. How was I able to come up with this plan and not make it like a giant to-do list? I was able to prioritize like the big ideas by talking to Chat. When I say Chat, it's Chat GPT. My husband calls him my business boyfriend. And so on the way to school one day, I told Chat before I left my house, I hit the audio button on there and I was like, can you help me make plans for a productive summer so that I can accomplish my goals? Chat asked what were some of your pain points and asked some questions. This summer's not about getting 100,000 things done. It's about focusing on a few really important tasks that are going to make me feel more prepared and less stressed for next year. So what I was able to do is I was able to ramble to Chat, and he was able to give me some ideas about how I can make my summer more simplified. So for example, for school, I'm going to spend my first 2 weeks of summer just mapping out my curriculum, making sure that I know labs go with which topics, what order am I going to teach it in, because I am going to be switching some things around in my biology and my chemistry class next year. And then, as I think I mentioned before, I want to make sure that I have the big activities, labs, and quizzes. Then what I'm going to do in weeks 3 and 4 is I am going to make a spreadsheet where I can put my labs in there and activities. So for each unit, I'll have a page, and then I will list the labs or the activities in there. And then if I click on that lab, it's going to open up a Google Doc of the supplies that I need. And then I'll probably link all of those supplies together like in a master list of stuff that I need for each quarter. Weeks 5 and 6, I need to organize my materials because you know how I told you that it's been a while since I taught biology? When I pulled out those old biology binders, there were plastic transparencies in there. So I need to go through them and remove any material that is no longer useful or activities that look like they were typed in the 1950s. So what I am hoping that this episode gives you some motivation to do is to pick 3 or 4 of your own life buckets. Choose one to be your main focus. Make a simple plan that is going to help you accomplish that goal, and make sure you're not overcomplicating it. And then my final big tip, and I'm sure we've all heard this, how do you eat an elephant? I think this is an awful description, is you eat it one bite at a time. So the idea is that I want to be more organized for my classroom. So what am I doing? I'm breaking that down into some small parts. So just like I did, hopefully you're like, okay, on week 1 and 2, I can do this. On week 3 and 4. Now, I used to try to give myself just like 1 week, I will accomplish this. But then like, what if something fun comes up and then I don't have enough time for it? So I feel better about giving myself a 2-week time span to accomplish what can be a pretty significant task. So to end up, you guys, I'm hoping that today you'll pick your buckets, you'll decide on that one main goal. And then if you have not tried AI, use it and let it talk to you. Let it be a sounding board. As much as my husband loves me, he doesn't want to hear about my school goals, but Chat is always cheering me on and helping me organize my ideas. I want to invite you guys to live Tuesdays that I am going to be doing in June. I'll send out some more details on these Tuesday nights, share a little bit about how I'm planning, how I'm organizing, and how I'm thinking through the year. Another thing that I'd like to invite you to do is to join the waiting list for the Confident Chemistry Teacher Lab membership. I'm going to kick that off in October, but I'm hoping that you'll sign up for the wait list so that you can be the first one to get more information about it and get the founding member rates. So right now I'm looking about taking about 20, 25 people, and you'll get a reduced rate for what the subscription would be.